Hi, guys, and welcome to today's session of Autism Journeys Radio Show and Podcasts. Today, I'm absolutely delighted to have the privilege to speak with a young man by the name of O Mahony, who you guys probably know better as the Autistic Baker. So, Sean, welcome to the show, and thank you so much for agreeing to have a conversation with me.
Thank you for having me.
So, Sean, I'm going to get right started to it, and I'm going to dive in with your first question, if that's okay. So I suppose, can I just ask you, when you were identified as autistic, and I suppose what being autistic means for you?
I think I was diagnosed at the age of 5, but I wouldn't really have any recollection or memory of being told or thinking about it when I was younger. I just kind of had it and that was it. There was no thought about it.
Okay. And what about now as a young autistic male? How do you feel about being autistic now?
It's a struggle sometimes, but then there's a lot of stuff that I can pick out of it that's good and that gives me strengths.
Cool. And I like, we will start talking about your baking in a moment, but obviously your baking and that area of talent is one of your huge strengths.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. So can I ask you, we're going to get right into the baking, because I suppose this is why we're here today, for you to share with everybody how that strength or that passion has developed and progressed. So tell me, when did you first discover your passion for baking?
I discovered it, I think, around last year, March was when I properly started. I was doing tuition and we just kind of were doing kind of small cooking and baking in the Cottage Cafe. And we kind of started doing breads and baking and that kind of stuff. And I found that very fun and entertaining.
Cool. And what was your first kind of big baking project that you engaged with? What was your first successful baking activity?
I think it was when I was on the first interview with, I can't remember who the TV crew were. It's bad that I don't know, but yeah, that would have been a big day because I was only doing maybe 4 breads a day.
Okay.
But I had to do around 22, 24 that day, so we were banging them out in a whole 5 hours work before that actually got there.
Wow. I can't even manage to bake one loaf of bread, Sean. I burn toast when I'm toasting bread in the toaster. I burn it. So huge admiration. And tell me, what kind of items do you bake? What kind of things do people, what kind of things are people lucky enough to taste?
I do the white and brown soda bread, and then I've also started doing the Madeira cakes and cupcakes.
Oh, lovely. I'm thinking immediately brown soda bread is my favorite kind of bread, so I'll have to pop down to purchase some, definitely.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Is it? Oh, come here, kindred spirit. Sean, can I ask you, what inspired you to take your passion and turn it into a business? I'd assume it's because you enjoy baking so much, and that it seemed kind of like that natural next step to take. But I'd like you mentioned also that you found it fun and that you actually really enjoy it. Do you find that it relaxes you, or that it gives you kind of that really good sensory feedback if you're kneading the bread and so on and so forth?
Yes, I'm very into it when I do start it, and the whole kneading of it is very therapeutic.
Cool.
And then it also, I focus on it, so I put everything else out, so it's a good distraction from everything else.
Good. So it's that it kind of allows you to be able to use that real strength and ability to kind of focus on one thing in particular and just block all the rubbish, the noise and the background noise, like that, kind of filter everything else out.
Yeah.
Great,
exactly.
Great. That kind of hyper focus. I love the fact that we as autistic people have that ability to be able to hyper focus on on different areas of interest and leave everything else out and behind. Can I ask you, Sean, has it offered you the opportunity to mix with other people who might have similar interests?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
I don't really know how to answer that question, so maybe.
Okay, perfect. I'd assume that you get to spend more time with other people who like to bake as well, and so on. And I suppose, isn't it great to have that topic of kind of joint interest that you can have conversations about, or that you can speak about, and that other people actually get where your passion comes from?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Can I ask you, why did you choose the title, The Autistic Baker, for your business?
Well, to me, it was always used negatively.
Okay.
And I never really heard it as a kind of a good meaning. To me, anyway, I never heard it as a good meaning. So I wanted to change that. Maybe I just thought it was a good idea.
Really good idea. And I suppose when you think about using the term autistic in your title, you're positioning yourself as somebody who is autistic, who has this amazing strength or this wonderful talent. And I suppose you absolutely dispel or remove that kind of negative connotation that some people associate with the word autism or being autistic. So I think it makes complete sense. And I suppose, doesn't it also allow you to be positioned really uniquely in a market? Because like bakers are 20 to the dozen, or whatever the case may be. But autistic bakers aren't actually quite so frequently positioned in the industry. Would that be correct?
Yeah, I think that's true. I've never heard of the Autistic Baker before, so
Cool. So nor have I. So I suppose it's really, really, really good. Can I ask you, so you spoke about doing baking breads, baking cupcakes, and baking Madeira cakes. So do you have plans to expand on all that, like on your kind of baking repertoire, the items of products that you currently bake? Are you looking to kind of create more bespoke cakes or bespoke breads or rolls or whatever?
yes, looking in the future to just start doing rolls, pizzas, bigger cakes like chocolate cakes, strawberry cakes, toffee, all that kind of different flavors, or even get into cooking.
Mm-hmm.
The cooking side of it, and start doing dishes for the cafe and learning stuff for home as well.
Oh, wow. Fab. And do you want to tell my listeners, Sean, a little bit about the cafe that you work in?
The Cottage Community Cafe is based in the Mahon Community Centre, the Rainbow Club.
Yeah. Okay. And are there lots of autistic people in attendance there? Are there autistic people hired or employed to work there? Is it a space that families of autistic people might go to meet other family members, or?
Yes, and there's a couple of staff in the cafe who have autism themselves.
Cool.
So that's a good way to kind of advertise that we're autism friendly. Cool. And show people that we're welcoming to everyone.
Absolutely. And I suppose not only autism friendly, but also autism affirmative, because like by hiring people, you absolutely value the autistic person. Do you know? Mm-hmm. So definitely. That's good. That's great. Tell me opening hours for the community cafe as well, just so that should anybody locally want to pop in and sample some of your wares.
We're open. They're usually open Monday to Saturday. On Monday to Friday is 9 in the morning until 6 at night, and then on Saturdays I think it's 9 in the morning until 1 o'clock.
Okay, and are you there every day?
I'm there Monday to Friday. Yeah.
Okay, so if anybody wants to sample your products specifically, it's Monday to Friday at 9 to 6 p.m.
Yeah.
Cool. So everybody go Monday to Friday, 9 to 6 p.m. to support Sean's Sean's job and production and so on. Can I ask you, Sean, with regards to your business, with regards to the Autistic Baker business, where do you think that next step might be? So, like you spoke about expanding baking products, expanding on your baking products and so on, and about maybe cooking, maybe moving into cooking. So, like, what do you think that might look like? Do you think that, I suppose, do you think that that might happen, that you might start expanding in products in the next short while with the view to maybe expanding into cooking in the next couple of years? Or do you think that that eventually that you might have lots of people working for you who are also autistic, who have passion in this area? Or what do you think it's going to look like into the future?
I think it's going to look very promising in the future. And at the moment, we're hoping to get cookery school for the Rainbow Club.
Okay.
So kids who want to explore their passion for baking or cooking can come in and do that.
Wow. And you'd be kind of the lead, I suppose, in that area, yeah?
Yeah, I'll be based in there as well, so I'll be kind of advertising it as well.
Cool. And you'll be the person, I've no doubt, teaching these young people how to knead dough correctly and mix things and measure things and so on, yeah?
Yeah, I will do.
Fab. So I suppose, Sean, I know that you've expressed, you've expressed a wonderful attitude about autism and being autistic in previous interviews you've done, about how you'd love to reach a point where autism just isn't a bad word, that it's not considered, we'd say, negative or deficit based or whatever, and
or
that
even
people,
disability.
Okay. So, like, how do you think, Sean, that we can work towards looking at autism and autistic people more positively? How can we make it a reality? How can we make that a reality so that people are they're accepted and understood just as they are?
Because I think people need to learn to not look at the negatives about it and more look at the strengths instead of going at the negatives. Maybe they should be exploring the strengths of autism and the different people. Maybe they're not good at this, or maybe they're good at that. So let's get them on doing that more. Yeah. That kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I suppose that kind of using somebody's strength to help support them in their area of challenge. So I know in this house, yeah, absolutely. We've got young people in this house who struggle a little bit with we'd say, sitting down and reading, but like they absolutely love music. So they learn spellings and they learn all of these kind of things through singing, through that medium, because that's an area of strength.
Yeah.
You know, or for yourself, I suppose, accessing your strength as a baker to support you in regulation, in kind of independently managing sensory needs, or independently, I suppose, managing, kind of being able to block things out, or indeed using your strength as a baker to teach other kids to the skills that are necessary to become professional in the baking area as well. Yeah. Cool. I suppose, can you tell me, Sean, you'll be glad to know I only have 3 questions left. 2 of them are a little bit more complex, but I suppose we'll start with the first kind of more basic one. So where can people find out more about you, about your information? How can people contact you? How do people find out all about you and the wonderful initiative that is the Autistic Baker?
Well, at the moment, we've only started with the social media. So at the moment, you can find our Instagram page, the Autistic Baker.
Cool.
Or you can go to the Cottage Community Cafe site and find us there, or even my parents' charity, the Rainbow Club.
Cool. So for people to find out more about you, so they can definitely get on Instagram and follow the Autistic Baker handle, and they can also find out more about you at the Cottage Community Cafe Instagram page as well, and then to Google easily the Rainbow Club, and that there'll be lots of information to come up about both the Rainbow Club charity and about you as part of that Rainbow Club initiative. Am I right?
Yeah.
Cool. So I've got 2 other questions, and these are a little bit big. So if they feel very big, just let me know, and we might have a bit of a conversation about them. But I suppose the first is, what's the most important piece of advice you feel that you can give to another child with an autism diagnosis who has a passion that they'd like to turn into a career?
I think if you've a passion for something, explore it more. And if you really enjoy it, go for it. Don't let anyone tell you no, or don't let anything stop you. Just put all of it in, put all your coins in, all of it into it, because nothing can stop you apart from yourself.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And the second, my last question for you today, Sean, is what's the most important piece of advice for people who aren't autistic that you could give? So that kind of neurotypical person, what is the most important piece of information or advice that you could give them around autism or supporting autistic people as a whole?
I think definitely be very understanding of it and try to see their struggles apart from just assuming straight away that they have this problem, but maybe be more understanding, I guess.
Okay, so show people more understanding.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Sean, it has been an absolute pleasure to speak with you today. I can't wait to get down to the community cafe to purchase a couple of loaves of brown soda bread particularly. And I'm so excited to hear what the next steps are for you, to see how things progress. And I've no doubt that I will be one of the invitees to the launch of your first restaurant or your first baking and cookery school, or whatever the case may be.
Oh, definitely.
Thank you so much, Sean.